Now, a lot of activities that we do in our daily lives require pronation of the hands, whether it's typing on the keyboard, or maybe playing piano, or maybe massaging someone, or doing a lot of things with the hands backwards. That's one of the main reasons why people experience such things as carpal tunnel syndrome and other debilitating conditions in their bodies, because they're keeping their bodies out of natural alignment. So if we learn how to bring ourselves to natural alignment, at least temporarily, that will create a nice moment of respite. It's like one of my old friends is a professional, or was a professional piano player, a concert piano player. And I observed him playing piano, and whenever he was not striking the keys with his fingers, even just for a second or several seconds, he would turn his palm this way. And I was like, what is he doing? And I asked him what he was doing. And he was like, I'm giving my hands a rest, because they get more tired to play this way. And then as soon as I turn them palm upward and forward, it's taking a rest. It's actually experiencing the moment of relaxation and the moment of truth. So we learn how to do this for ourselves throughout the day, embodying this awareness and giving ourselves these moments of truth on daily, day-to-day, and even hour-by-hour basis. Well, how brilliant is that? We can literally transform the quality of life by bringing just a little bit more awareness to our physical bodies. But it's not just physical bodies that we bring awareness to, it's also awareness of how the energy flows. We are energy beings. And one of the things that we know about grounding is it's supposed to connect us with Mother Earth. How? Energetically. If we are energetically connected to the ground, we become more grounded. But how do we connect to the ground? Well, through our feet. We already talked about the soles of the feet. That's the interface between us and the ground we stand on. But then there are muscles in the lower legs and upper legs and groin that often hold and do tension. And if there are tensions in our legs, is it going to affect the energy flow? Absolutely. Energy doesn't flow very easily through tense tissues. They create energy blockages. If there are energy blockages in our legs, we will have a hard time connecting to the ground, because we just blocked the flow in our legs. And the question is then, how do we undo it? Because nobody does it to us. We're the one doing it to ourselves unwittingly. How about we actually wittingly stop doing it, or become more aware of it, so that we have freedom of choice to do it or not do it? That is exactly where we continue our exploration. This principle of grounding requires bringing attention to some details of distribution of weight on our soles of the feet. How often do people pay attention to the distribution of weight? Not more than some of the world-class ice skaters do, and even they sometimes forget to pay attention to that. Us mortal humans will definitely be well served by bringing more attention to our feet and developing more awareness of how we distribute weight on them. What do I mean by that? Well, most people don't distribute weight evenly between the inner and outer edges of the feet. If you look at the shoes that they wear, they usually wear out the heels of their shoes either more on the outside, which means that they supinate their feet, or on the inside of the heel, which means they pronate their feet. In either way, there is misalignment. If they wear out the inner edges of the soles of their feet, it means they carry more weight on the inner edges of their feet. They essentially distribute weight in such a way that the toes and knees are not pointing in the same direction. If the toes of one foot and the knee of that same leg are pointing in the same direction, it's very easy to distribute weight equally between the inner and outer edge of the foot. If you are on an ice skate, that's imperative. You need to do that just because otherwise you'll fall over. But even if you're not on an ice skate or rollerblading, you still would be well served to bring weight into the center of the foot. Why? Because that means neither the muscle on the inner or the outer edges of the leg have to work hard. Let me explain. If I bring more weight onto the medial side of the foot, the muscles of the outer side of the leg have to work hard to compensate for the structural misalignment, because the bones of the upper leg, lower leg, and the foot are no longer in the same geometrical plane. If the knee is pointing inwards in relation to the toes, I'm going to have excessive tension in peroneus muscle, and that will block the flow of energy and often creates a lot of discomfort and pain, and people wonder what they can do, and they go to massage therapists, and most massage therapists will massage this muscle and release this tension, and then you go home and you won't feel like yourself if you don't keep doing that which you're used to doing. So you will keep doing the same thing with your knees as you used to, and that will essentially lead to repetition of the same chronic tension. You go to a massage therapist again, they massage the heck out of that muscle, and you go home. It's great for massage business, but it's not an empowered way to be, because you become dependent on somebody fixing you and you're still not maintaining that alignment. So what we need to do is we need to actually do this to ourselves. What do we do? Well, we actually exaggerate this misalignment. Sounds like a stupid idea, right? Why would you want to exaggerate misalignment if you're misaligned and you want to correct it? How often do we hear people telling us, don't do this, this is wrong, you need to correct it? And how often do we stick with their admonitions? Not very often. So if we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, that would be insanity. How about we actually do something different? Like actually exaggerating this habitual pattern of misalignment. Let's do it consciously. When you do it consciously, you will feel like, wow, this is really debilitating, and I'm really sick and tired of doing it in a matter of seconds. That is when you consciously choose to stop doing it. If you don't know what you're doing, you do it unconsciously, you can't stop doing it because you don't have agency over it. But when you actually exaggerate your misalignment and then you feel like, wow, this is really not working for me, I'm done doing this. And sometimes people, when I work with them face to face, say, is it okay if I straighten my leg now? I say yes. Whenever you're ready to discover better alignment, feel free to do that, but do it consciously. Don't just react to discomfort. See how you can consciously reduce this discomfort. Gradually reduce the tension that you're trying to release. As you're consciously reducing the tension, you're doing something unique. Most of us don't know how to consciously relax because there is no conscious signal of relaxation that central nervous system can send to the muscles. It's only more signals of contraction or fewer signals of contraction. So what we're doing is literally practicing Wu Wei, non-doing. We're learning how to undo that which we've been doing to ourselves. And how to transform ourselves from within. That's the empowered way to be, isn't it? Now, if I find the optimal distribution of weight between the inner and outer edges of the foot, that's great. But sometimes I may overdo this. Some people think I need to swing the pendulum the other way. Well, try that. See how that's working. Some people wear their shoes out on the outer edges of the feet. That means the knees are pointing further out away from center line as opposed to where the toes are pointing. Well, that's an invitation to exaggerate this holding pattern, exaggerating distribution of the weight of the body on the outer edge of the foot, and noticing how uncomfortable and dysfunctional that becomes. And then, in a matter of seconds, it's going to become so tiring and uncomfortable that you'll want to bring the knee into alignment. Again, it's all relative. So you can bring the knee in alignment with the toes, or you can bring the toes in alignment with the knee. Either way, they start pointing in more or less the same direction, and something amazing happens. The tension that was in the leg is no more. If this is the tension associated with holding out or bringing the weight on the outer edge of the foot, this tension on the medial side of the leg is going to create an energy blockage, which can be just as debilitating as the other energy blockages in other parts of the leg. And what we do is learn how to undo these blockages. If Oriental medicine considers energy blockages the root cause of ill health, we are literally addressing the root cause of illness. We are literally taking charge of our health. We're learning how to undo energy blockages so that the energy can flow freely through the body and we experience maximum vitality. Who wouldn't want that, right?